this is Rob from Pineapple Creations, and I love sci-fi, I love spaceships, and I love making sci-fi spaceships. But sometimes they can be really expensive, especially if you're looking for like an STL or trying to buy a kit somewhere. So go back to good old-fashioned trash bashing. And of course, all spectacular spaceships usually start off as some weird piece of garbage, or in my case, something I found at the thrift shop for like $3. I think it was like a smoke detector flashlight thing. Honestly, I have no idea, but it looked really cool. Definitely looked like a spaceship of sorts, so I started improvising. I took out what I could. I also may have broken a couple tools along the way, but hey, you know what? Make sure you have the right tools for the job, right? So trash bashing is really just finding cool bits and putting them together in a different way. So luckily the internals of this random device are really cool. So while the ship is hollow, I'll be using its internal parts to really bulk out this thing. And most trash bashing is really just improvising. So I went to my pile of hoarded bits, or trash, depending on who you ask, but I took out the parts that might be really cool for this thing, and I started putting them together. That big grid thing is from like an Xbox 360. I literally found an Xbox on the side of the road, which is pretty convenient for this project. And of course, handy dandy E6000 and super glue are the true MVPs of any trash bash. Old medical equipment, the thruster looking thing is from medical equipment. I use sandpaper to really rough up the spots I'm going to glue to give it better adhesion. And, in some spots I use super glue, some spots I use E6000 and hot glue. It helps keep the bond strong. So finding where things might make sense on this and improvising, really. Again, trash bashing isn't about having a plan per se. It's more about just kind of going along with the ride, Filing, sanding, a lot of sanding and filing, but that's a part of the process. So the cool lenses that I found are from an Xbox Kinect camera, and I thought my spaceship needs to have sneaky infiltration technologies, so I'm going to put a bunch of lenses on it, a bunch of cables, give it that always watching vibe. So again, old cameras, sanding the spots, gluing them on with E6000 super glue, and kind of just making it look cool. The hot glue is more of an immediate bond, and the E6000, once it's cured, none of those pieces are going anywhere. So I like using that combination because it helps me build, consistently. I don't have to go too hard, I don't have to go too fast. I just think it's cool, honestly. It's really, and if I'm not building it for it to be cool, then why am I building it, So all the cameras are in place. That definitely looks like a cool side panel for this ship. So, and it fits like a glove right there. So I made sure that was its new home, and it really helps bulk out the ship. Instead of it looking like a weird rectangle with a curved top, it's now having some form to it, So after I put the thrusters on and do my E6000 hot glue combo, I'm starting to definitely see the ship in the garbage, if that makes any sense. Definitely needed more thrusters, so I just added 2 more. I want to have the idea is that it should be able to move quickly if it needs to, and defend itself if it needs to. So on the other side, I added some more bulk. The cool gritty thing definitely adds to that sci-fi motif. And honestly, those computer parts, I don't know, maybe it was an old TV, old cable somewhere, but it looked cool up top, and that circular piece, definitely from the Xbox. Again, when you take pieces from electronics, please be safe. Make sure there's no anything that stores a charge in it. You don't want to hurt yourself. And this fan was from a computer that I also found. Actually, it was from the Xbox. Honestly, shout out to Xbox 360 for 1, existing, and 2, being on the street. This piece is from more medical equipment that I had laying around. It's like a asthma medication, so I took the parts. Definitely looks like a shield of some sort, so that's what it's going to be. I used my good old E6000 and super glue combo. I decided to give it like side sponson guns, and it's literally just a bottle cap with some bits attached to it. Simplicity is amazing when trash bashing, and less is usually more. So that's a Halloween eye from, honestly, I don't know, a dollar store with some more bits attached to it, and is now a big cannon. I rough up the metal so the glue adheres better, and there we go. Now my ship has some defense, it has some offense, and it is ready to go into the stars. Came together really well. I added some cables because I think cables are a nice little extra zest to that sci-fi aesthetic. And here it is unprimed. And definitely looks like a ship, but also still looks like garbage. So we should, we'll change that. The ship is that. It's bottle caps, it's medical equipment, it's bits and bobs from everywhere that I've been collecting over the past couple years. And I blue tacked the parts that I wanted to keep the same colors, the same metallics, the lenses on the cameras, so it kept its shine when I primed it. So here we are, just rattle can primer for the first layer. Make sure everything comes together, and now that it's all primed, definitely looks like a spaceship. I primed it again with the Sunres Black Primer to just make sure it's just 2 coats. I went into some of the blue parts, or I started making blue parts with a thin down Vallejo blue, and those are going to be like the shields, quote unquote. So I wanted them to have like a cool blue glowy effect. So I did that on the side, the top, any weird shapes that might, like, front side shields type of thing. Because if it's supposed to be some type of like observation shuttle, it should have some good defenses. I dry brushed it silver with just some craft silver, like a hobby paint that I got from like Michael's. The great thing about trash bashing is it doesn't have to be a spectacular paint job. You don't have to use like scale 75 paints or anything. Like, get the basic shapes, bulk it out. I used Sino Red's orange primer for like the guns and like an exhaust for the thrusters to make it seem like it's like idling or like maybe like cruising somewhere in space. And I think it's a nice touch. Funny enough, I brought the red back from the original shape around the rim, and I painted the cameras black because I think that adds some more variety. Vallejo's liquid gold is great for metallics. It's such a brilliant gold. I put those in different places for some visual variety. Same with P3's molten bronze. I really appreciate P3 paints, and it really adds some nice variety on my big old sci-fi vessel. Then I used this deathless metal from P3 for like darker metallic colors, like on the fan, and to really give it that like grungy space look. Then I added a light blue in the blue spots, so the shields have more of like a glow effect. And with an airbrush, it's pretty simple to do, so I just added some light blue to the dark blue, and now it definitely seems like the shields are online. And I added some white to really accentuate that like glow. So a little bit of white, light blue. Now we have ourselves some nice shielded defenses on our ship. I added Minotaur's irradiated yellow into the thrusters to give it more like a glow effect. And since I think turquoise is a great color, I just painted all the cables turquoise. That's visual, it catches the eye. This is cool. Again, it's a spaceship. It's supposed to be cool, and it was simple and teal. I just think it's a great color. So after I did that, I popped off any other tack that I missed. I added transparent red to the red part of the ship to just give it a little bit of depth. I love washing metals with like a blue to cool. I could give it like a cool metallic tone, so that's why I use the Drakenhorf wash. Then I dry brushed some bronze onto the thrusters, and I used Guilliman blue glaze on the turquoise cables. After that, I had some like radioactive, pretty much like stamps. Like I printed out a sheet of them and glued them around the ship to give it that radioactive caution, safety. And well, after all that, that's how it looks put together. Hope you enjoyed the video. I really had a great time putting this together, and it's definitely like ready to infiltrate and listen on whatever cosmic quests this vessel needs to go on. In this video description, you'll find a link for some cool free sci-fi stuff. It should help you out in all your sci-fi tabletop or trash bashing needs. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the video, and happy crafting.